All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Now, I know we got NFL football every Thursday now, for the most part. And usually I don't put a Thursday pick on here, but with three games on the slate for tomorrow, as well as a Black Friday game by the National Football League this year. I'm going to break these three games down as well on Thursday, as well as the Friday affair. Now, you got a somewhat big one in the NFC North tomorrow. We've got the 8-2 Detroit Lions hosting the 4-6 Green Bay Packers. Detroit comes into this contest favored by 7.5. And like, believe it or not, they're getting closer to winning the NFC North for the first time in franchise history. And in actuality, you got to go back about 30 years when we still had the NFC Central to find the last time that the Lions won a division. They've only lost one game at Ford Field this year, while the Green Bay Packers have only won one game away from Lambeau. Ford Field typically on Thanksgiving Day is rocking, but I guarantee you this place will be electric tomorrow afternoon. Now, we have a situation here where I think this past Sunday was a wake up call for the Lions as they had to come from behind to beat the Chicago Bears. And I think that got this team's undivided attention. The Lions are the better team. I expect them to start fast offensively and try to put the Packers in a deficit. And if the Lions are able to do that, this place at Ford Field is going to go crazy. The fans are going to be into the game. Also, this defensive line, led by Aiden Hutchinson, will have the opportunity to pin their ears back and come after the youngster at quarterback for the Packers. And I'm talking about Jordan Love. I like this Lions defense going up against Jordan Love. I like that matchup. And I think that will be a difference in this contest. I'm going to take Detroit at home by the score of 31-20. Now, tomorrow, you're going to have the 4-7 Washington Commanders traveling to AT&T Stadium to take on the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas comes into this contest favored by 12.5 over their NFC East brethren, and they're looking to keep beating up on bad teams, which is what they've been doing in recent weeks. Now, once upon a time, when you talked about the Cowboys and the Commanders on Thanksgiving Day, this was a big time deal. Not the case anymore, as the Commanders have fallen on hard times. And like I talked about it yesterday, it would not be surprising to me if Ron Rivera's days are numbered as the head coach in Washington. You got a quarterback in Sam Howell for the Commanders that has been sacked 51 times so far this season. And you're talking about the Cowboys, who have one of the better pass rushes in all of football this year, led by Micah Parsons. Cowboys defensive coordinator Dan Quinn, I guarantee you, he's going to be bringing the house on this one. And we just saw Sam Howell get pressured and sacked a lot on Sunday, courtesy of the New York Giants. The Giants don't have the pass rush that the Cowboys do, and I guarantee Sam Howell is going to be in for a very long day. We've seen Dak Prescott and his offense be in a rhythm as of late, and I think that trend will continue tomorrow afternoon. Thus, I'm going to take Dallas at home by the score of 37-17. Now, tomorrow night, a big time showdown, and it's a statement game for both of these teams in the NFC West, as you got the 7-3 San Francisco 49ers traveling to take on the 6-4 Seattle Seahawks. These two teams met three times last year, including once in the postseason, and San Francisco got the best of Seattle each and every time. Now, the Seahawks want to go out there and show that this year is going to be a little bit different, while the 49ers, they got back on track with a big win a couple of weeks ago against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And they've now won their last two, and they still want to show Seattle that they're the ones who run this division. For the 49ers, I think getting Trent Williams back on that offensive line was huge. Like I said, Trent Williams plays nasty. And I say that as a compliment because this guy walks onto the field, with an edge, with an attitude. And you need that on your offensive line. You need that from your left tackle, and you need that from a guy who basically, sets the tone, if you will, for what this 49ers team can do. Brock Purdy and company, they're getting back on track. Why? Because you got Debo Samuel back, and Debo, his presence there really changes what this team does offensively, because now not as many eyes can be on Christian McCaffrey, not as many eyes can be on George Kittle, and I think that changes what this 49ers offense can do, and it gives the Seattle defense something else to have to prepare for. The Seahawks lost a heartbreaker on Sunday to the Los Angeles Rams. I think that the Seahawks gave that game away. I think that Pete Carroll and company on offense got a little too content, and they should have tried to get some more extra yardage, and they had time to get some extra yardage and get Jason Myers closer. They didn't do that, and because of that, they lost a crucial contest to the Rams, and they definitely want to get back on track. But I'll tell you like this: we saw this Rams defensive line cause problems for Seahawks quarterback Geno Smith. I like the way that Chase Young is playing with his former college teammate in Nick Bosa. And I think that pass rush from the 49ers could be the difference in this one. I'm going to take San Francisco on the road by the score of 30-24. And finally, on Friday afternoon at MetLife Stadium, you're going to have the 4-6 New York Jets hosting the 7-3 Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins come into this contest favored by 9.5. For me, it's a lot of interesting things to look at in this game. Of course, the Jets have once again benched quarterback Zach Wilson, this time in favor of Tim Boyle. And like I talked about it earlier this week, I think that Robert Saleh, the Jets head coach, really didn't have a choice but to bench Zach Wilson. Now, the Jets have their next 3 games at home. I guarantee you the Boo Birds would be out, and it would be too much for this young man to handle. With that said, you've got Tim Boyle going up against an improving Dolphins defense. Why? Because they finally have a healthy Jalen Ramsey in their secondary, and that changes a lot of things that the Dolphins are able to do. I like their pass rush, which includes the likes of Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb. And then on the flip side, this Jets defense, they've been game all season long trying to carry this team. But when one part of your team is so strong like the Jets defense is, and they don't have an offense to complement it, it makes it for a long day. And I think at some point that defense is going to break. You got a lot of weapons on offense for the Miami Dolphins, too much for the Jets defense to try to slow down. And with that said, I'm going to take Miami on the road on Friday afternoon by the score of 27-13. So, folks, those are my picks for this Thursday and Friday in the world of the National Football League. I'll be back on here later in the week to give you the breakdown of all of Sunday's games as well as the Monday night affair. And with that said, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on the X, formerly known as Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it will be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. Now you can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin, and I am signing off. And I'm saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.